Hi everybody, Marianne here. How's everybody doing today? I've been really antsy to get back into the studio to record project number 6. You know, here we are on shelter in place. You'd think we have all the time in the world to just do this all day long, but it seems like with everybody home, there's just more things to do and more demands on my time that I have less time to do it. But we're gonna make it happen. How is your day going? And how's the weather? It's really overcast here right now, and so I'm not getting much light in my window, which is right by my desk. So I love having that natural light, but it's really overcast. So I'm hoping that the lighting is okay. Pulled in some direct spotlighting, and I'm hoping that that works out okay. So did you have fun with project number 5? I hope so. I really love your comments. Your comments are what keeps me going and makes me realize that some of you are enjoying putting this together as much as I am. I was going to put this book together for myself anyway, and I still am because I need it. When I go to make a journal, suddenly I can't think of anything, and if I can look at the book and go, oh yeah, and remember all these things that I've done, then I can pick and choose what to use in that journal. So I was going to do it anyway, and I thought, well, why not make a series of it? Because I love seeing other people's ideas and takes on things and series that just give you, different variations and stuff. So a few of you are, letting me know that you really do appreciate the series and that you are, putting your book together and really enjoying it. And I really appreciate that. I really appreciate the time you take to comment, to let me know that that it's of value to you, because it does take a lot of time to get everything together and get set up and ready to do a video. It doesn't seem like any big deal, and it really isn't a big deal to do it, but you have to be organized ahead of time and prepared ahead of time and pull everything together. And where when you're making it at home, you don't do this. You just grab your stuff and start making, and if you need something, you get up and you go find it. So a little bit different than that, but I'm really enjoying it, and I'm really trying to find a way to balance my laptop upside down so that we can live stream, because it would be so much fun to live stream and be able to craft together, whether it's for doing one of these projects or 2 or whatever, and we could do that. Or if it's just crafting and chatting. Right now, it's fun to get together even online and know that we're all working on projects at the same time. So let's get into number 6. Oh, more book pages. Remember I told you if you have a book and some glue, you can make everything that we've done so far. And more to come. So project number 6 needs 2 book pages. And then after you've made it, you can make it with scrapbook paper, probably not cardstock, doesn't work quite as well, but music paper, any plain paper, because you can, decorate it up. 4 to 5.5 inches wide and no taller than 9 inches. And this is what we're going to make. It is a triple pocket. It can be a quad pocket if you want. But there is, I know I had a card sitting here. Where's a card? Where's a card? All right, we got a plain piece of paper, a piece of scrap paper that we cut off something this morning. There's a pocket here, and a pocket here, and a pocket here. Now you can glue it in the book so that you have a pocket here. I don't typically do that because I really like to stuff these pockets. And I find that if I stuff maybe 3 things in each pocket, that it's pretty full, and I don't want to put any more stress on it and end up with the pages tearing by putting stuff in here. So usually with your decorations on it and 3 things in each one, that's a really nice page in a journal. So if you have a page that you just need the whole thing filled, don't know what to do, it's easier to make tags and journal cards than it is to decorate a page. Just put one of these on it, and the bigger the book page that you start with, the bigger your triple pocket's going to be. So you can put this on it and stuff it full of all the tags and ephemera, whatever you want, and there's your page. Ink around the edge of the page if it's white, and you are good to go. So let me show you a few. And Oh, I forgot to grab another one. This is one I put together. This paper, maybe you can tell it is so old. It's from a French book, and it is, I have not vintaged this. This is the way the paper came. It is so old, it just looks like it could fall apart, but it seems to be fairly strong. And I put this together for a custom order book on Paris that I'm doing right now. I thought this French would be really cool. And so I took it to the sewing machine and did some zigzag stitching around the outside. So that's an option. You know, most of the time I just do it like this. I just glue it down, gonna embellish it. Sometimes you can put some ribbon up here or, you know, whatever. Put some embellishment here. But if you want to, if you like stitching things, or if that's kind of a theme in a journal you're doing to have stitched elements, then you can go ahead and stitch around that. Here are a couple that are put together, and they're inked, but they are not stitched. And these are both from a gardener's handbook, I just realized. And I do have a couple of botanical journals going, so these would be good to embellish with that in mind. And, ooh, that's nice there. Why did I use that page? That's a really good page to have lost on this. Yeah, those would be good for botanical gardens, journals. Here's another one that has not been inked. It's only been folded and glued, and that's from the Gardener's Handbook as well. And then here's one that hasn't even been glued yet. So it's really easy, but did you notice on each one of mine that the writing is right side? I mean, facing the right direction. It's not upside down, it's right side up. A lot of times when I see these, they're folded and then the writing is upside down. And so there is just a little trick to making sure that you get the writing right side up. And I like that because if I'm putting it in a botanical book and it's Gardener's Handbook, you know, or the French one in the French book, I want the writing to be right side up. So I am working on that Paris book, and so I grabbed this French book. I haven't used anything out of it yet. I'm going to set these aside. I have the Gardener's Handbook up here too that I was working with earlier this morning if I need to get something from there. But I haven't used anything yet from this French book, so I thought I would take a look at it and see if I could find something that might go with this French Paris journal that I'm doing. This book is French in 20 Lessons. I thought that sounded pretty interesting. Oh, great images. There are some great images on here, and this is just the table of contents. Wow. Okay, so getting into the book. All right, there's lesson 1. So it's got images and the words in English and in French. Let's see what lesson 2 is about. Food and eating and dinner. What's lesson 3 about? Lesson 3, the felt hat, the evening, expensive, cheap, good day. Oh, here we go, clothing and footwear. Okay, I have some sewing pattern next to me because I was working on something else about clothing with this Paris book. So I am going to, let's see, I don't really want to put that picture on it, but what do we have over here? Is this all part of, I hate to lose that image because that's a really good image. So what do we have over here? You have a suit there which fits you very well. Do the trousers fit you? But I know that only the top portion is going to show of the page and the top of the second one as well. So, okay, how about this? I wish to buy a tailored suit for my wife. What material do you prefer? A good material and not too expensive. Let's take that page out. Ooh, that happens to be right dead center of a signature. So let me see, rather than tear it, which is what I was going to do, if I can just cut this signature out, and we'll get this out a little nicer. So if I cut the string, the thread that it is sewn with, that's interesting. 3 of those stitches are white and 1 of them is red. I'm sure there was a reason for that. What it is, I do not know. Okay, let's see if I can find the signature there. Maybe should have done this ahead of time, but didn't realize. Wow, that's kind of, looks like that page goes with this one. All right, we're gonna try to do this. Let's see if we can break that section a little bit. Okay, and the big signature. There's 2 signatures there. There we go. I think, nope. I think that's the signature right there. Now, what do you wish? I wish to speak French. That would be cool. I just learned that they have French immersion schools, elementary schools here in my area, and 2 of my nephews are in them, 2 different schools. I thought that was pretty darn cool. Okay, so which is the page that oh, it was dead center, wasn't it? It was dead center of this. I wish to buy a tailored suit for my wife. Okay. Oh, look at that. There's the fabric. Let me get this page out. I really like the torn look, but I also don't want to destroy it because I don't want to make the page any smaller than it is. So I'm going to try ever so carefully to tear that apart. Okay, that worked. I don't want to use that one. I'd like to save those images, I think. But I could use this one. Yeah, that's coming out nicely. Okay, so there's my 2. We'll set that aside. All right, here's my 2 pages. And I want this one to be the front one because I want to be able to see on there, although a lot of it will get covered as we're embellishing, but I like that French there. All right, so here's what you do. Well, first of all, I do want to say that if you want to ink around it like this, it is a lot easier to ink the top and bottom only. The rest is easier to ink it when it's folded. But it is a lot easier to ink the top and the bottom right now before you fold it. It's a real pain in the patootie to ink it after it's folded. So we'll just do the top and the bottom. Okay, and now I need to put the second one in front. So we get the bottom. That'll work. And the top. Okay. And then what we do need to do is flip it over to the back, and you'll see why, but we need to ink the top and the bottom of the back. And you will see why. Okay. Bottom and the top. Yeah, inking is so boring on camera, but if you don't do it now, it's really a pain to do it afterwards and have it look decent. You'll see why, but so I don't want to do that. It's not really worth stopping the video just to ink and then come back. And I'm not editing my videos. What you see is what you get. I mean, what you get is exactly what I did. I'm not editing anything out. I'm not changing anything once it's done. And I'm doing that in an effort to try to not spend much time editing, but try to do shorter videos and get more of them out. I would rather see a lot of content with ideas and things that are helpful to me than to worry about, you know, the very specific professionalism or, you know, every little thing of somebody's video. So if that bothers you, I'm sorry. I hope that it won't, but that's what I'm going to do, is not edit them. Just give you what we record. Okay, so we ink the top and the bottom of the front and the back. Now, here's how it goes. You take the top piece, whatever you want to be the front, and you're going to put it maybe 1.5 inches from the bottom of the second page. Okay? Now, here's what most people do when they go to make these. They fold them this way. And now that's right side up, but it's going to be covered with tags and journal cards, and what's on the front is upside down. So the trick, and you just have to remember, because it's so simple, all you have to do is fold it back instead of up. Fold it back. So before you make a crease here, put that down, and then I kind of look and see, are they about even from here to here to here? And it looks to me like there's a little less space here and a little more space here, which means that this second page could move a little bit so that it's a little closer here, and that would make it a little farther there. Okay, that looks about right to me. So I'm going to set it down, make sure my sides are lined up. Got glitter and dust and everything from what I was working on this morning. Make sure sides are lined up, and then I'm going to crease it. Now, we haven't glued it yet, but you can see why it's easier to ink those while they're apart than together, because as soon as I glue this, now you're trying to ink this without getting ink all over here. And that's a real pain. So, all right, where's my glitter glue? Uh-oh. Where's my art glitter glue? Did I knock it on the floor and didn't even realize it? All right, got 5 seconds to find it, or have to grab another glue and just go on. It's not there. I know I used it. Did I carry it out to the other room while I was using it? I didn't think I did. All right, well, we're gonna grab a Tombow glue. Never fear, there is always an alternative. Doesn't matter what you're doing in art and crafting, there's always an alternative. So if you don't have something, can't find something, doesn't matter, there's always something else. Okay, so I'm gonna start, what I'm gonna do, this is folded so it's kind of getting in my way, so I'll just do this. I want to hold this whole thing down because I want to keep this snug down in there so they stay where they're supposed to be. So I'm going to hold this whole thing down on the second one. I'm going to pull the first one open. Now the key to gluing, when you're gluing two things together and one of them is shorter than the other, is always put the glue on the shorter side. So we'll run a little bit of glue on the shorter side. And we'll pull it up, make sure it's perfectly lined up with the side. Okay, I'm going to flip it around, and I want to do the same thing on the other side so that I make sure those two stay right where they're supposed to. Okay, it's coming open because it's not art glitter glue, which is perfect for me because I should have done it at the same time. That's what I would typically do, is just run this bead up the other side at the same time. Not having my art glitter glue threw me off. I love that art glitter glue for paper. It dries so quickly, especially something like this. Pockets dry instantly and you can just go on and decorate it. Okay, so now the first pocket's secured to the second one. So I want to make sure that the second one is down inside the first one, down where I want it to be. And I'm going to lift up the second one and hold it securely. And I'm going to run a bead down the shorter side of the two that are being glued together and the other side of the two that are being glued together. Stand up, please. Okay. Make sure that's still in where I want it. Bring it up here. My edges are still in line. There we go. Now the second is to the third. So all that's left is the third to the fourth. Okay, so I don't want it to move. If it's not glue that dries instantly, those are fun images, but they're gonna get lost deep in a pocket. We will never know, we'll never see them. Okay, run it down again on the shortest side of the two that are being glued together, because then you know exactly where to stop. If you run it down that one, you don't know where to stop. You don't know how far up the other piece is going to come. Quit bubbling up. I don't want that to bubble. Okay, now I'm just going to pull this over so I can push this in and make sure it's secure down there where it should be. I can see that my edges are lined up. Yep. And look at that. Just like that, you have a triple pocket. It's another one that sitting there watching a movie with hubby. I don't know about you, but right now, shelter in place, hubby wants to spend a lot of time together. And that's okay. He always does. I mean, we always do. We do everything together, but we don't usually get to spend so much time together. So we're getting a little more time together. But that time pulls me out of my studio where I want to be working on some of these things. So I can take a book, just grab that book that you're using for all of this, take it with you out to wherever you're going to watch TV with him, and your adhesive, it's all you need is a book and your adhesive, and you can put together a couple dozen of these, a couple dozen of each of those ones that we've done so far, and you can come away with a whole box of elements all ready to go. So the next time you sit down to work on a journal, you've got elements to pull out. When you pull them out, all you have to do is decorate them according to your journal theme. There you go. Just like that. Okay, so here's one that I already did embellish in part of a cactus and succulent book, and I found this cute little it was just that size, and it actually had the stamp drawn around it, and so I cut it out with the stamp cut, boy, I can't even think today, with my stamp cut scissors, you know, that do the edge like that. So that was perfect. And this was a button. This was a button there. You can see there's a piece of burlap behind it. And here's another one. This was part of a botanical card. And so I just cut that out like a stamp too to go with that. But this was a button. So these kind of buttons, you can see how flat that is on there. These kind of buttons, when you get them, they always have that big shank on it. Well, you can't put that on or it would stick way up and it's not going to stay in place. It's always going to get knocked off, and you can't stick it through there because then you can't stick anything in the pocket. So all you have to do is take a pair of, these are jewelry cutters, or if you go out to your husband's garage, I will guarantee if he has any tools at all, he's got a wire cutter. We've got several of them. But it's just a wire cutter. All you need to do is get a wire cutter. And, oh, too bad I don't have a button right here. But let's say this was the shank here. You just take the wire cutter and you get around it like this along the bottom. And like this one, for example, is plastic. And so I just had to squeeze it, and I moved it a little, squeezed it, moved it a little, squeezed it, and then it just popped right off really easily. Sometimes the buttons are metal, and so I'll get in there like that and then maybe bend it back and forth a little bit, and they typically break off. Never had any problem getting one off. So If you've got some cool buttons, but they're not flat, you're thinking you can't use them, you can. So let's embellish this one for my Paris journal. Get rid of that paper, unless we need glue paper again. I wanted to try to use some more. I used a whole piece this morning, and this came out of the same pattern. Wanted to try to use a piece of this. What are we gonna put it with? What are we gonna put it with? We could just put it with a flower and a label. Let's see, I've got some flowers here. I've got some labels and some butterflies and things. Let me get rid of this. It's in our way. Right here, and I've got some of the faux stamps that we've used in the past right here as well. I don't know if these are the right kind or size. I just saw them sitting there and I haven't looked at them since I put them in there, so I thought I better grab those and start. Well, there's some cute butterflies in there. They would go good on a botanical one. That's cute, but it's kind of big. Nice tags. All right, well, that's kind of large, but if it's covered with something, you can cut that down. And the edge that's tucked in, you wouldn't even see. So let's keep that out as an option. What's down under here? Oh, that's cute. South Pacific doesn't really fit geographically. Let's see. Oh, that's kind of cute. Oh, because he's talking about getting a tailored suit, and there's a piece of a yardstick or a measuring stick, which would go with that. Let's see if there's anything else in here. Or are these all large? There's a bunch of large ones there. We do have... What's down there? Oh, there's pink and yellow and a butterfly. Oh, those are really pretty images. And a blue. And that's not yellow, that's kind of beige. Okay, those might be usable. These might be usable. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, wait a minute. I was going to make our own flower, but what do you think about that? What if, let's see what kind of labels I have over here. If there's anything that seems, well, most of these are too big. I'm looking for some small labels. Okay, so that is an option, or we could build our own flower. Let's see. Okay, if we use that as the base, I also brought over my container of ribbon scraps, which I know besides ribbon also happens to have some scrap of burlap in here, because I know I just stuck it in there last night. Okay, so we can use that. If we used a scrap of burlap, and what if we had a pink, suddenly getting other inspiration, some pink flowers. I was gonna build one of those, but I'm thinking I might want to go pink, but maybe not quite that big. There's the same one. Oh, ooh, that's kind of cool. Yeah, I'll shabby it paper. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. There's fibers that can be used later. We use a scrap of burlap. I'm thinking if we take piece of pattern. I'm just going to tear off the little piece here. It was folded in thirds, so I left it folded in thirds, so I kind of sort of got the same all the way across. And what I'm thinking is, okay, that's kind of right in the middle, which is perfect. If I scrunch this up in the center, I have no idea what I'm doing here, friends. So you get to see how this works out right along with me. It's just a thought I had. I'm thinking, what if I scrunch this up in the center and make this into a bow? I could take one of these little pieces. Let's see. Yeah, that's probably long enough. Little pieces of burlap. I'll wrap that twice around there. Bring it to the back, and I'll tie a little knot. Oh my goodness. It's funny. It just shows you that whatever idea comes to mind, try it out, because you never know. And it's funny, I always start out thinking one thing, and then as soon as I start digging into stuff to make it, I see other stuff, and I think, I can't even see to get that. There it is. I see other stuff, and I think, oh, well, what if we tried this? So try it. You never know. All right, got a nice little knot there. Look at that. We got a nice little bow made out of pattern paper. This is her tailor suit, the tailored suit he wants to buy for his wife. And we could put this underneath it, and put that in the middle of it. I think that's probably a good one, and we could do something like that. I like this shabby one better though. Let's see, we could probably build our own, but let's see what we got here. That's purple. We need some more pink or white there. Need some different sizes is what I need. All of these seem to be the same size, so that'll work, but I need some white or light pink in between it. Gotta be something in here, right? Don't make me go make one tiny little white or light pink flower to go in between here. Oh, come on. Okay. Well, there's another solution. Maybe. Do I have a white bucket? All of these are labeled with whatever color flowers are in them. So if I have one that's got white, I know I've got some white. Oh, I just stuck one over here this morning. Oh, that might be just the right size. All we need is one. Oh, there's two together. Interesting. Okay. So we do that. And then take this tiny little pink one. There we go. What do you think? Does that go on that bow? Oh, I wish I could hear you. Your opinion. Okay, and then we could cut this one in half and put it coming out there. Not a great color, maybe. Oh, how about the pink one? How about the pink one coming out like that? We can fussy cut that. up a little bit. Don't know if I'm 100% sold on that one. We could use that little ruler. Well, let's get this on, and then first let's glue this flower together. And I'm going to use Fabri-Tac. Actually, these are all, no, they're not. So I can say if they're all paper, I'll just use my art glitter glue that I don't know where it is. So, maybe I left it out by the couch watching movies with hubby last night. I was making some of the book things. Okay, so put a little bit on the bottom one and get the next one. I hate all those little strings that come from Fabri-Tac. Put a little bit on the next one. Of course, I'm getting on my fingers too, because there's holes in the middle of all the flowers. So it's going right through to my finger. Okay, white. This white flower is pretty cool. It's actually one that you can color with markers or sprays or ink or whatever you want. Okay, and we'll put this one in here. Now, I could just make a hole through all of them because the white one doesn't have a hole, and then put a brad through it, but I don't have those things sitting next to me right now. So let's get our, how do we want this? How do we want our burlap? If we put it like that, of course we can't see the tailored suit, but it might have to be okay. Let's see if this might work. I don't know if it will. I don't like fussy cutting in a hurry because I don't think that I fussy cut very well. Like normally I would have put this on my mini cutter, guillotine cutter, because it's all it is straight lines. And if I can do it on the cutter, I know it's going to be straight. Okay, that just doesn't pop. It has nothing there. This one is going to be faster on the cutter, and the cutter is right here, so I'm going to do this quickly. And if I don't get close enough in to the edge, I can go back and get that. Yeah, there's one side I didn't get close enough. Let's try it again. Okay, and then all I have to do is cut out the point. It's a whole lot easier. At least I know those lines are straight. I never think I cut very straight. See, even there I got a little pink on that side and not on that side. So, okay, so what if we did that? What do you think? Does that work? It might need a word or something in there. Or do we take that off and just put a word? Let's just get this on what I'm whoops, just dropped it on the floor. What I'm debating is if I should just make this rectangle right there, and then this is at an angle, and so that's where it is, or if I should make this like that. Yeah, I think like that. Let's just cut off a hunk here. Okay. I like these frayed edges, but not quite that long. So I'm going to trim those up just a bit, and I'm going to put this like that, I think. Okay, I'm going to cut that just so I know as I'm putting glue on it that I want glue on the whole thing. Because it's easy if I can, you know, just let a piece hang over and then go back after and cut that off, trim that up. But because I want to glue this down with Fabri-Tac, I need to know where to stop the glue. So by trimming it right there, I know I can put glue on this whole thing. Oh, Fabri-Tac is so sticky. This is actually really, really thick. I'm wondering it might be getting down to the bottom of the bottle and it's just extra thick. And now it's catching the burlap fibers and pulling them into its gooiness. So what have you done during this shelter in place that you didn't have time to do before, that you kept putting off and saying, well, when I have time, I'll do that, when I have time. And now you're sheltering in place and you've got time to do whatever you need or want to do. What have you done that you have been waiting for time or putting off or something like that? How about, I'm gonna go like that. Okay, yeah, I'm curious to know, what is it that you've been doing that you just needed to be forced to have this time for? I'm using Fabri-Tac on this one too, not because the tissue paper needs it, because goodness knows just a good paper glue or any glue will hold the tissue paper, but I'm using it because I'm adhering it to fabric, to the burlap, and anything to the fabric to anything, fabric to fabric, fabric to paper, fabric to anything else. That Fabri-Tac is awesome because not all glues hold fabric, and burlap, you know, all those kinds of things are fabric. So, all right, but it doesn't dry instantly. Need to give it a few minutes. All right, where's our flour? Covered up our flour. Okay, put that there, and then we're gonna put something in the center. You've probably been screaming at me, don't forget the center. Okay, and because this bottom flour is fabric also, I'm gonna use Fabri-Tac on that so that it will hold permanently to that pattern bow. And then let's see, remember we're talking about France or Paris, so maybe a pearl. Can get this partly up here. Maybe a pearl like that would look nice. What other options? Ooh, is that one too big? That's one I made out of, what do you call it? I think that one will work. Let's use that one. You know, that stuff that you squeeze from the tiny little bottle, and yeah, I know you're screaming the name out of it to me, and I can't hear you. Wish I could. Tell me what it is. Why can I never? It's not Perfect Pearls. That's the other brand. Goodness. Now this has come completely out. I really hate how that, sometimes it keeps volcanoing and sometimes it doesn't. Okay, that'll stick nicely. All right, I just need my towel over here. I'm gonna clean the lid of that really good and then put the lid back on and set it aside. Okay, and this can all go over here to that bin. Okay, now we might need a little word down here, you think? A French word would be good though, huh? All right, let's get these flowers out of our way. See if I can put them back in here without completely squishing them all. This is obviously red and pink flowers. Okay. Let's go to the French book and see if we can find, oops, didn't get those pink ones in there. See if we can find a good French word. Oh, here's the dictionary in the back. French English dictionary. I can move that out of the way. So we have a pattern there. It'd be nice if it had something to do with clothing, couture, or creating, something like that. Let's see. I don't know if you can see in this dictionary. You probably see something and you're yelling at me, right there, use that one. Okay, look right there. Couture, sewing, tailoring. Aha! Let's see if we can get this page out nicely. And see if we can nicely tear. Where did it go? There it is, right there. Okay. Well, first we need to go up here and then across here to get a little closer to it. Okay. Couture, sewing, tailoring. And I purposely got just a little of the one below it that said dressmaker. What's the one above it? Custom or habit. Coutume. Coutume? I don't know. Coutume? Yeah, who wants to talk about our habits anyway? Okay. But that needs to be on something. It doesn't work just by itself. First of all, it needs a little ink on the edge, and it needs a backing. Doesn't it? Needs a little tiny background. Maybe a little piece of black torn paper. We get it? We did get it. Okay. All right. That is ink. Let me see if I've got something black right here. Just want a little torn piece of black background paper. Let me grab the scrap box right here. There's got to be something in the scrap box, right? This has a ton of scraps in it, so let's see if we can just find something. I know I'm right on top of it, but just find something small and black. Oh, this has got a bunch of packaging things to use too. There's some solid colors. There's black in there. There's brown. I'll pull that out just in case. We can take a look at that. And there's black. Found one. See, not so difficult. I keep all the scraps together in one container. They do get used. So those are perfect little cutoffs to use for all kinds of things. So, all right. So let's do this. Put a tiny little bead of glue on here. Get this out of the way. As it falls right on the thing we just glued. Oh, I got Fabri-Tac all over my hands. Make sure we got enough. Okay. Now, can you please stay there? Thank you very much. All right, I'm going to put this on here. The reason I'm putting it on first, oh, I hate that feeling of Fabri-Tac all over my fingers. It's like coating it. I put it on there first because I want to tear this out too, so it's got a nice torn edge. And by putting it not right up against the edge, I can tear it exactly where I want it. Maybe should have waited till it was dry. See, that's what art glitter glue does. Prevents that dry almost instantly. Okay. Yeah, art glitter glue, you've got like all of 2 seconds maybe to move it if you're gonna move it, because it's gonna adhere. But you know, when you want things to adhere quickly, it's the most awesome glue around. But sometimes you want to have time to reposition something because you know it's going to be hard to get it exactly right the first time. And in that case, I don't use art glitter glue. Then you want to use something like Tombow where you could reposition it for a minute and be okay. This black was just too big in relation to our word. All we want is a border, a frame, so it doesn't look like it's just hanging out there in the wind where it doesn't belong. That's getting better. Just this corner over here. Okay. I like tearing things. That's fun. All right. What do you think? That work right there? Couture, sewing, tailoring. Yeah, let's do that. And I'm going to use Fabri-Tac. I know this is paper, but what's it attaching to? Burlap, which is fabric, and the best adhesive to keep something on that burlap. Yeah, everything doesn't stick to burlap. Some things will just pull right off of it even after it's dried. So Fabri-Tac, Fabri-Fix, great for burlap. Any kind of fabric. Oh, yeah, if you're going to stick to something, stick to me. Don't fall on our creation. Okay. How's that? There we go. And there we have a triple pocket already decorated there for a couture journal, Paris, which will be perfect. And you could decorate them for a garden or a botanical or anything else. So what I like to do is just make up a bunch of these and have them there, and then when you're putting your journal together, you can grab them. You can even make them different sizes, but I do like them big enough like this that they'll hold tags of any size, and I'll put small tags down in the front and bigger tags, you know, as I go. Put the bigger tags at the top, so if I put this at the bottom of the page, even if the big tags you know, stick up this much, there's covering the whole page, but they aren't blocking everything that's down here in front of them. So there we go, triple pocket. Hopefully that was easy. Hopefully that you enjoyed that, and hopefully you'll get some made up and set aside in your stash so that as you're making your journals, you can just grab them and go. I'm going to ask you a question before we go to tell you what number 7 is. If there is something that you have seen that you would like to see a tutorial on, if you would tell me what it is and even message me a picture, I will be happy to do that. If there is something that you make from these, if you're looking at all these and going, these are awesome, but I also do these 2 or 3, you know, things with book pages that are just as awesome. If you would message me about them, I will be happy to do a tutorial on them and credit you for them. Oh, believe me, I seriously doubt I know I didn't make up most of these. I can't even tell you where I learned most of them. Now and then I can tell you somewhere that I saw it, but some of them, like the little drink cup that we turned into a pocket, I remember making those in 3rd grade. So, you know, things just go around in the world, and I am not the only person making these, so don't credit me for, you know, all of these. Maybe just for, you know, putting it in a tutorial and so that you can make them, but certainly I didn't make these up. So I am happy to do a tutorial on anything that you do that you would like to show me and then credit you for it. if you are not someone who does tutorials yourself. But I want to make sure that if there's something you would like to see, that we do cover that. My thought first was to go through a bunch of elements like this. These are things that when you get your journal together, you need elements on the pages, and then you put embellishments and ephemera and things like that on them and in them. So I wanted to go through a bunch of elements, and especially things you could do having one book and glue right now. So if you didn't have a bunch of stuff at home, you wouldn't have to go out and get it. But then I thought we would move to maybe some more things where maybe hopefully you have some scrapbook paper, or whatever else, a paper bag, or can find some things around the house to use for some of those others, and even move to a couple of journal page layouts. So I know for starting, it was always, looking at this thing and going, what am I going to put on here? Need some ideas for layouts, and you can substitute all kinds of stuff. So I think having some journal page layouts in your idea book are always really helpful as well. So consider that, and then let me know. Okay, project number 7. I'm going to take this out because I'm afraid that it might make a glare and I can't see it. And I want you to be able to see this. So project 7, guess what it's going to take? Paper. Your book page is just fine. Again, let me see. What is it that we're doing? Yep. Okay. Yeah, your book page is fine. Plain paper is fine. Scrapbook paper is fine. Probably not cardstock. That might be a little thick for this one. Some type of glue or adhesive. And then just like all the others, small things to decorate with. If you've got a thing with lace cuttings or ribbon cuttings, things like that, like my old Tupperware bucket here that has ribbon scraps and different fiber scraps, bring that, because that's great for decorating. That's really great. Okay, and then if you have images that you've fussy cut, or if you've made some of those faux stamps, those are great too. So we're using all those same types of what do we call those? These are what we're making is the element, and then these are the embellishments. So we're pretty much using the same type of embellishments for all these different things. So I will see you soon with project number 7. Thanks for coming today. Thanks for crafting with me. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't. Be sure to hit the notification bell down there so that it will tell you, or is it over here? I think it's over here. Not sure. I think it's over here. So that it will tell you when I post new videos. I don't have them on a set schedule, so I can't tell you, every this day and this day they're going to come out. I'm trying to get them out at least every other day, but I might have a chance here to get ahead a little bit and put some out every day. I'm going to do a couple coming up of things that are not elements for the journal, but they'll be like one of them. We're going to work with some stencils on book pages and on plain paper, but then we're going to take that paper that we do and use that in some of the elements that we make. So if you want to follow those as well, they're easy to do and give you some paper to work with on some of these elements. So thanks for coming, everybody. Please take care of yourselves, take care of your families, stay safe, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.